alcohol is being given to someone, and somehow they put it into the lab and they take out of it the thing that intoxicates, and they give it to you and they say, drink it now. Are you allowed to drink it? So if you say that the reason why pork is prohibited is because it's a filthy animal, if they take it to the lab and they make sure that it has no filth inside it, you're going to have to eat it, right? Are you allowed to eat it now? When the Messenger ﷺ now mentioned the ruling, he followed it up with the reason. And this is what the ulama refer to as al-ʿillah. Al-ʿillah. Al-ʿillah means reason, purpose. Sah? Some of the ዒllah, when it's mentioned, so the ዒllah, the scholars, they divide it into two. They say ዒllah, which is what? ዒllah, which is mansoosah. ዒllah, which is mansoosah, is a ዒllah that is stated and it's mentioned and it's Allah and His Messenger told you. It's mansoosah. ዒllah here means reason. Sah? The reason is followed up with the ruling. Are we all together, brothers? Allah is telling you why He allowed something, or He's telling you why He prohibited something. If I asked you right now, alcohol, is it prohibited? Is alcohol prohibited? It's haram, right? Why? What's the illah? See, I'm asking you the illah. What is the reason? Why is alcohol not allowed? Because it intoxicates you, right? Al-iskar. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, clearly and categorically. Sah? So I don't have to go out of my way and find out why is alcohol prohibited, why are we not allowed to drink alcohol. The reason has already been stated. This one is called illa mansusa. Mansusa means it has been stated, it's been informed to you. But not every single time is the illa mentioned in our religion. There are times when things are either prohibited and etc., and we don't know why. And what the scholars now do is they look for the reason, and they might differ on it. They might what? They might differ on that illah. This is the second type of illah, which is called illah, al-illah al-mustanbatah. The illah which is extracted. It's not mansusa, it's not textually stated, but it's mustanbatah, meaning you have to, as a scholar, you have to go through a process to find, okay, what was the reason why the Prophet prohibited it? And the scholars might differ on that. Some might say the reason for why this was prohibited is this. And another group of scholars say is this. Another group of scholars say is this. That makes sense? Why is it so important to know the reason? The reason why it's important to know the reason is because you can use that reason for another issue which Allah and His Messenger didn't speak about. The Prophet spoke about alcohol, right? But did he speak about drugs? He didn't talk about drugs. He talked about alcohol. But because I know the reason why alcohol was prohibited, I can tell you that drugs is prohibited because the reason that alcohol is prohibited is also present in what? In the drugs. And then so I will now then say, you have the same reason as the what? As the alcohol, so you are prohibited. Does that make sense? But right now, I'm fine because the reason was already stated by the Messenger. The Messenger told us the reason of why the alcohol was prohibited. So that illah I base the drugs on is from a illah which is mansusa, a reason which was stated. But what about if I thought that the Prophet prohibited this on a illah mustanbata that I took out of, and then I placed it on another thing? If we haven't agreed upon this reason, then whatever I've based it on, you're not going to agree with it. Does that make sense? And that's why you find a lot of scholars will differ in this issue because of that. The poet, he said, وَرُبَّمَا يُعْوِزُنَا اطِّلَاعُ لَكِنَّهُ لَيْسَ بِهِ امْتِنَاعُ. There's hikam, there's ilal. We won't always necessarily know every single thing why Allah prohibited it. Do you guys know why Allah prohibited pork? What's the reason why pork is prohibited? Is there any evidence that tells us pork was prohibited because of that? Is there any evidence for it? No. But do you guys know what it is, the reason? By the way, if you give a reason, listen to this. So let's say alcohol is being given to someone, and somehow They put it into the lab and they take out of it the thing that intoxicates and they give it to you and they say, drink it now. Are you allowed to drink it? You took alcohol, went into a lab, took out whatever was intoxicating you from it, and they gave it to you and said, drink it now. Are you allowed to drink it? Of course, you have to say yes. And the reason you prohibited is now gone. الحكم يدور مع علته وجودا وعدما. The ruling has to revolve around the reason. If that reason goes, the ruling goes. Does that make sense? So if you say that the reason why pork is prohibited is because it's a filthy animal, if they take it to the lab and they make sure that it has no filth inside it, you're going to have to eat it, right? Are you allowed to eat it now? So do you see what happened here? Your ʿillah is not working here. So that's what some of the scholars, they say the prohibition of pork is ta'abbudi. Ta'abbudi means what? We worship Allah based on it. Allah, we just worship Allah based on that. It doesn't mean there isn't a reason, but we just worship Allah. Allahu A'lam, why He prohibited it. Does that make sense? That's why, brothers and sisters, this topic of ʿillah is one of the most juiciest topics in fiqh or usul al-fiqh. And if you go down that road, it opens your brain. You see your brain growing. Your head becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. The hat that used to fit you before will not fit you now. I'm joking. You'll enjoy yourself. It will tease your brain a little bit. And it's where it comes from, ijtihad. Because the Quran and Sunnah, when it says things, we can't do it, right? The ijtihad of the ulama is coming through illa al-mustanbata. And the illa mustanbata is actually, where is it in? It's one of the 4 pillars of al-qiyas. Qiyas stands on 4 pillars, 4 pillars. The 4 pillars of qiyas is what? Al-hukmu, wal-aslu, wal-far'u, wal-illa. Those are the 4. Qiyas stands on 4 things. Asal. Asal means the original thing. Wal far'u, the subsidiary issue. Wal far'u. Al aslu, wal far'u. And then the illah. And then the hukum, the ruling. Qiyas, when you're studying qiyas, have you guys heard of a qiyas analogy? Or syllogism? Qiyas analogy, right? We just did it right now. I showed it to you guys. We just did a qiyas, which is what? Drugs. We took an analogy from alcohol. Alcohol is the asal. Drugs is the fara'. The illah is intoxication. The ruling is haram. Those are the 4 pillars. I just used it. I repeat it again. Alcohol is the asal. The asal means the one Allah and His Messenger spoke about. Al-far'u is the thing I want to now give the ruling to, which is the drugs. It's the fara'. The illah, the reason is al-iskar, intoxicating. The hukum is what? At-tahrimu, haram. The hukum is only going to be one of 5, right? Ahkamu taklifiyat al-khamsa, you should know it. At-tahrimu, wal-wujub, wal-ibaha, wal-karaha, wal-tahrim. Did I mention tahrim? Wal-istihbab, sorry. Those 5. Al-ahkam, al-taklifiyat al-khamsa, those are the 5. So that's the hukum. Good. Am I making sense here, brothers and sisters? So, illah, reason, it falls under what? It's one of the pillars of what? Qiyas.